Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we are doing a Thai chicken noodle soup. This is going to be great with the cold weather outside, and it's going to give that nice, homey feel of chicken noodle soup, having the chicken and the noodles and a couple other familiar ingredients in there, just with a Thai twist. We're going to start off with our red onion first. We don't need to chop this super fine, so we're going to puree up the soup. You can skip that step if you want to. I just kind of like having a little bit of a smoother base. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the ends off of the onion, and I'm going to cut this in half through the ends we just cut off, and then peel the skin off of the onion. And then we can just kind of move that to the side and throw it away. And then we're going to cut a tic-tac-toe board into the onion. So what we're going to do is basically cut in the thirds one way, and then cut in the thirds another way. So we just cut it in half, or cut in thirds, and then cut in thirds. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in my pot. I got my oil in there already, preheating a little bit. Just a tablespoon of olive oil. It sounds like it might be a little too hot, so I'm going to turn that down just a hair. Give that a big stir. And while we're getting the last little bit of onion off there, come on. And while we're letting that go, I'm going to go ahead and chop up my garlic. I got 3 cloves of garlic here. I'm just going to kind of smash those with my knife and just give it a rough chop. So like I said, we're just going to puree the soup up, so we don't gotta cut anything super fine or precise. Add our garlic. Kind of just smashing up the onion pieces, that way they can kind of saute a little bit better. And then we'll go ahead and add some ginger to this. I like using the puree ginger just because it's such a time saver. We'll add about a tablespoon of that in there. This saves you time from having to peel it, dice it, or peel it and grate it to get a usable consistency. This way it comes pre-done. You can find that in your produce section at most superstores or supermarkets. Sorry, and they have you have garlic like this too. Be careful using the herbs because sometimes they can kind of have a off-looking texture and kind of look like snot a little bit. So it's not the most appealing thing in the world for like the parsley and the cilantro that they do, but it's great for the ginger and the garlic because it's a time saver. So we've been letting our onions, garlic, and ginger saute for a few minutes, and we're ready to add our Thai curry paste or red curry paste. You can find this in any supermarket. We're adding a tablespoon. I'm measuring with a teaspoon because it fits in the jar. 3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon. So I'm just going to put a tablespoon of curry paste into our pot, and we're just mixing that all up. So you can kind of see in the pot there, everything's just kind of getting mixed up. That curry's kind of getting on everything, and we're just getting a little bit of cook on the curry or on the curry paste, so you get a little more flavor. Kind of think like when you add tomato paste to your pot, you cook that a little bit before you add everything else to it to give it some more flavor. So that's what we're doing with that. And then now we need to add 6 cups of water and our chicken base. The chicken base, instead of me having to buy 30 to 40 cans of chicken broth or boxes of chicken broth, I buy chicken base and I can just add water to it to dilute it to give me the flavor. So we're going to add 6 cups of water, our chicken base, bring it up to the simmer, put our chicken in there, and let it simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes or until our chicken's done. So if we fast forward over here, I'll bring this over to you guys. Boom, I have my chicken over here that's been in the water for a little bit, or in the broth for a little bit. So you need about 1.5 pounds of chicken, and then once it's been in the broth, just going to shred it. So got some nice chicken breast here. It smells great because it's been simmering away in the curry paste, the chicken broth, and those veggies and aromatics in there. So we're just shredding this up. And this is one of those things where if you have kids wanting to help you out in the kitchen, let the chicken cool a little bit, and then you can let them do it with their hands. I like doing 2 forks, and then you kind of just pull the piece down with 1 fork and kind of pull apart from it with the other, and you get some nice shredded chicken there. So we just need to do that with shred up all of our chicken. So we'll get this shredded up, and then we can add our can of coconut milk, which I like using the cans of coconut milk because it's already pre-measured for me. You can use 1 can, be done, and I think it has a little bit more flavor than the cartons of coconut milk you can find as like a dairy substitute, because this will also have like the coconut cream on it, which has lots of good flavor and it's good stuff. So we got our first chicken breast done. Again, you just need about 1.5 pounds of chicken to 2 pounds. These are 2 smaller breasts, so it ended up being about 1.5 pounds for me. So we'll finish this guy up, and now we got our chicken ready to go. Our cook. So we got turn this heat off. When you take the chicken out, you can just leave your pot simmering or boiling, because we're going to add our noodles to it here in a second. But I'm going to take my spoon out, add my coconut milk, and don't be alarmed if whenever you get it, you kind of have a solid chunk on top. That's the coconut cream. So you can kind of see, that little bit that comes out, that's coconut water. But there's a big solid piece on top. That's your coconut cream. That's the good stuff that you want. You might have to get a spoon or a fork to kind of scoop it, kind of help scoop it to get it out, but it'll eventually go. And now we're just going to take a stick blender or an immersion blender. Again, if you don't have one of these, you can do it in a blender, or you can not puree your soup up and just mix in your coconut milk with a spoon, and it'll be fine. So this is going to be a little loud. So this does 2 things for me. It kind of helps incorporate the coconut milk into everything, and then it'll help puree up the onions and the garlic that we had in there. This is I kind of like a smooth base for stuff. I'm weird like that. Again, you don't have to do it. I just like doing it. So we should have a nice smooth soup. And what's nice is you can put this right on the bottom of the pot, and there's little legs on here that will be on the bottom of the pot and keep that blade from scratching it, because there's a little bit of space there, and it kind of works just like a blender. So we got that done, so we're going to add our chicken back to the party. And then we'll take our noodles here, and you need about 8 ounces of noodles. So this would be a half a pack of noodles if you bought a whole full carton at the store. We're going to give you 8 ounces of noodles. So, and this is just like regular old spaghetti. And we'll just drop it right in there. kind of let it do its thing. Give that a little stir to get mixed up. And rice noodles, you know, they don't take as long as regular pasta to cook, so it won't take too long, and that gives us time to get our pepper and our cilantro ready. So we're just going to kind of take our bell pepper here, and if you look at the bottom, you'll see where there's lines in it. That's where the ribs are. That's where your seeds are. So I'm going to kind of cut inside those lines. So I'm going to take my knife, kind of cut down first, and then kind of, you know, angle my knife out a little bit. This to kind of go along with the curve of the pepper. So the seeds are staying inside, attached to the top of the pepper. This is kind of a fun way to do it. If you prefer to, you know, just cut the top off and, you know, do it a different way, go right ahead. This is kind of how I do it and have fun with it. So all of our seeds are there, and it's going to take this and just slice the pepper nice and thin. And we'll do the whole pepper. This is going to be kind of a fun garnish for our soup. And we're just going. There's a little bit of the stem or the part where the seeds grows on this one, so I'm just going to kind of cut that out and just throw those away, and then finish chopping up my pepper here. And then you can either drop this right into the soup, or you can wait and as you serve it, kind of garnish it with it on the side. I want to put my bell pepper in there so that way you get even more red color, and they kind of cook a little bit. They'll still have a nice crunch to them, but this will cook them a little bit and also give a little bit of flavor to the soup. And then it calls for 1 carrot, you know, peeled and shredded. Why not use these nice shredded carrots? So add about a 1/4 cup of shredded carrots to it, and we'll stir this all up. And it will be good to go here in just a second. We just need to let those noodles finish cooking. And you chop up a little bit of cilantro here. So we're going to take a nice little handful of cilantro here, and then chop away on it. You can alternatively, you know, pick the leaves off and just garnish with the whole leaves on there. I like chopping it up. That way it spreads out a little bit more whenever you garnish it. And then we need a nice squeeze of lime. So I'm just going to cut this in half. Cut it in half again. You got a nice lime wedge that will squeeze over top. I'm going to go grab a bowl to put this in so you can see what it looks like, and I'll be right back. They keep moving my bowls around. I share space with university, and they like to move some stuff on me. So we're going to get some tongs. I kind of grab a nice spoon, you know, nice bunch of noodles and chicken and all the peppers. And I'll take a ladle some of the broth right over top. A little pinch of cilantro, a little squeeze of lime juice, and if you have some crushed peanuts at home, a little sprinkle of crushed peanuts over top would be great. I didn't give you any just because of nut allergies. I didn't want to take that risk, but if you got some, that'd be a great little texture variation, some great flavor. But I hope you guys enjoy this. Let us know if you do. and we'll see you next time.